Good morning, everyone. I hope you've been learning some few good things on the session so far. Today we're going to talk about transition to undergraduate to postgraduate studies. So my name is Ross Pancha. I'm one of the nurse educators working at ACN, and I'm currently looking after the refresher course and some various courses with us as well. So just to start with everyone, and a lot of times we all been coming in from an undergraduate degree, and maybe we haven't started studying for a long time, maybe we just freshly came out from the undergraduate. So I think it is really important for us to understand this huge transition or undertaking that you wanted to do when you start doing your postgraduate degrees. So I have some sort of like a table comparison here for you. On the left side we have the undergraduate and then postgraduate on the right side. And just to show you really quickly what are the differences or expectations that you can see on an undergraduate level and a postgraduate level. So on an undergraduate level, it is mainly, as you may know, a blended study, a face-to-face. It can be online, mix of both. So when you go to universities, you get to have like 2 days to go in the class or, to your tutorials, and then you have some online sessions as well. With most of our postgraduate degrees, particularly here in ACN, everything is online. We have some few specific courses that require some sort of face-to-face. That includes the bridging and re-entry course. So I think understanding how to transition to that sort of online learning is really important. Um, Also, if you look at the undergraduate, there is a more prescriptive approach to studying. What we mean by prescriptive is there's some patterns, so there's like a framework that you need to follow in a particular day or particular time of your study to give you an idea of what you have to study. Now, in regards to postgraduate, studying, it's more of like a determination or drive, more determination to study. So what it means is you have your own pace. Yeah, you can sort of, space around what you wanted to study in the beginning, as long as you finish it on a particular term. Undergraduate talks about fundamental course content, as you may know, because this is a fresh information for everyone. So when you go to university, there's some things that you've never heard before, and you wanted to learn about it. Now with postgraduate degree, you're looking more of like, expanding the fundamental knowledge that you've already acquired. So that's mainly a big difference on what to expect from an undergraduate to a postgraduate higher education. Now, uh, undergraduate does not usually involve prior learning experience. There are some, undergraduate that require you to have some sort of other, expertise. But for the most part of it, you normally just need to make sure that you finish your, your high schools. And for postgraduates, obviously there is an expectation that you need to have an undergraduate experience or work-related experience to complete the course. Now, also studying can be more of a priority than working. As students, we're all doing a full-time work as an undergraduate student. But with postgraduates, obviously, we all have our own priorities. We have our families. We have our work. That takes a priority sometimes more than you're studying. So that's why it's really important for you to balance out how much time you'll need to spend on the postgraduate and how important it is to you to acquire that certificate or your completion. Again, prescriptive studying times and dates for undergraduate. Someone tells you what studying times, dates, timetables are allocated for each particular unit. For postgraduate, there's a huge flexibility on the hours, and it can be based on your personal circumstances. Less flexibility for undergraduate, more flexibility for postgraduate. And, as a matter of fact, there are some times that you can just take a leave of absence each term, in a particular given time frame. So, which is good. Let's say, you have other things to worry about in the next 3 months and you don't want to study at that point yet. So that's fine. And you can take a leave on that. Most of the flexibility can be found in the postgraduate. Then finally, we have more peer-to-peer interaction. As you may know, because undergraduate is more of a blended study, you actually get to see more people, like a real physical classroom, real physical classmates to talk to. So there's more peer-to-peer interaction. And that sort of gets taken away when you go to the postgraduate because there's less interaction. You get to see people online or in Zoom sessions or in any sort of recordings, but that's probably the more limit of what you can see with postgraduates. Um, so on online technology tips, just to give you a really quick idea, since most of our courses in ACN are delivered online, it is really good to understand your capacity or your knowledge about navigating online and using computers and your technology in that sense. So I just had some few sort of lists here for you. So know the system requirements and the hardware tools that you'll need when you start an online learning. So obviously, because this is online, you need to acquire a computer or a laptop. You need to have the proper software and you need to have an internet connection. So these are the three major things that we require you to do when you do your online studying. So first things check, do you have a required Windows on your computer, or if you're using a MacBook? So do you have a Mac OS? So either way, that can work for both on our online learning platform. Do you need to use a Chrome browser, or will other Chrome browser work? So for the majority of what we do with the courses of ACIA, we use the Google Chrome. So you can download it obviously for both Windows and Mac OS. Do you need access to Microsoft Office 360? As you may know, the Microsoft 365 is the one that we use to generate Word documents and Excels and PowerPoints. We do give an access to our students for the people who get enrolled with the courses. So you'll have an access to this one. I think the main thing that you need to understand is how to use them proficiently for your assignments. And then finally, what computer laptop configurations do you need? So just as long as it's a Windows 10 or Windows 11, if you have one, which is running at the moment, or something that is not too 10 years outdated, because that will be it's going to be really slow. And look after the memory and the storage that you need for your computer. Internet connection, everyone, is mandatory. So, this is an online learning. There is no way for you to be able to access all our information in the courses without your internet connection. So it is important to secure a really good connection, particularly when you're doing online discussions, because every now and then you need to log into to your Connect and do a bit of reading and reply to some online discussions. So it is important for you to have an internet connection. Now you're not very tech savvy, and I understand that some of our students are just sort of just getting a grip of it or just learning it now. As long as you know how to do basic internet, I think every one of us by this point we should know how to do basic internet browsing. And also, as long as you know how to do Microsoft Word, you should be able to survive with our courses. Now, PowerPoints, in some occasions, we do use them. And, if you would require assistance and you haven't used PowerPoint presentations before, we can always assist you here with the AC and, with our ICT team and the course coordinators by then. Now, online learning technology tips to continue. Have you not done any online studying before? What are the challenges that you expect? Because, this is a new thing for some of us. We've been studying in university face to face. Now we're going on, a full online. Technology limitations on doing your work. So there are some times that, technology is just not agreeing to you. When you try to open something, it doesn't open. So those are the things that you might have to expect on on these kinds of learning approach. Time management and work study balance. Now this is a postgraduate sort of circumstances. So having a proper time management when you're doing an online study will have to be incorporated in your work and study balance, because first and foremost, we have the flexibility. You can study in the nighttime, you can study early in the morning. Unlike when we were in the undergraduate, that you have a specific time that you go to school and to study. Prioritization, we found a lot of our students struggling a little bit, particularly with the COVID situation that happened, because a lot of shifting of the priority. But we wanted to ensure for our students to make sure that you allocate a specific time for your studying as well, because at the end of the day, you committed to doing this online courses with us. So you'll get the reward when you completed it. So Lack of personal engagement with class, we mentioned that a while ago, because there's no peer-to-peer interaction, and studying and technical support can sometimes be challenging, which is basically how the technology and how to navigate around them. Now, there are other areas to consider when you're transitioning to studying with online and learning technology, because we do get some students who haven't studied for 10 and 20 years, and we understand that, look, they wanted to go back to the nursing workforce, they wanted to study again, and I think it's amazing to find these people that still has you know the capacity to actually study 10 years down the track, 20 years down the track. So what kind of support do we actually give you? Now, we have a lot of academic support that we offer to our students, particularly if you are struggling for the first time on your first units on the courses. You know how to write an essay, you know how to do this, how to log into that. So I think it's always good as as a service that we provide you to contact the course coordinators for any kind of issue that you have to encounter, or give us a heads up about what you think will be the circumstances or hindrances that you might have to face while you're studying. Now, not very good with computers. We can support you on that as well. We have our ICT team who's working, tirelessly to answer any technical issues. There is obviously a turnaround of 24 hours sometimes, before we can answer that. But if it's an urgent matter, like, uploading assignments and things like that, always talk to your course coordinator. They'll be able to assist you with, with all kinds of things. Now, like what I said, computer basics, you just need to know how to do browsing on the internet and making sure that you know how to use Word document, and going around to our online portal, which is Connect, and you'll be able to survive the courses. I'm not very familiar with referencing. Now, we do have a lot of information and resources available for every student, and I understand that referencing is really daunting, particularly when you're doing a studying that you haven't done for 10 and 20 years. We do have, like what Rachel mentioned a while ago, we have some software services that we provide you for academic writing and referencing. First thing is the one that we have in Connect, which is the Writing and Referencing Center. A really, really good, folder and resources. You can find all the APA 7 referencing that we use, and all other tips and tricks and information about assessment writing. Now, we also have an academic writing support, which is smart thinking. It's an external software that we provide to students, in which they can actually talk to an educator, or talk to someone who can give a feedback to their assignment. And this works around with a lot of our students, particularly who hasn't studied for a long time, because they're really sort of scared about how to write an assessment. They want someone to look at their assignments to see if they're on the right track. So the services on the smart thinking, which you'll have access to your learning portal when you start with the course, is a good way for you to tap onto it. Now, obviously, English as second language student, we do have a lot of those students who are struggling, with English language. Now, I would suggest, obviously, the smart thinking is a good tool for you to be able to do and understand, more concise writing in English form. And also talk to your course coordinators. We're always sympathetic and understanding about the issues that may arise. And I don't believe in that sense that being English as a second language will hinder you, relevantly on studying in an online, on an online course.